bring you to our first one, which is the Deeptech innovation from scientific breakthrough transforming industry like AI. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only from President of TDK Ventures, Nicolas Sauvage. So big round of applause.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here today with you. This is my first time in Thailand outside the airport. And I've been so happy with all the welcome and warm welcome from all of you. And I've already experienced amazing food. I've lived in Asia for 12 years and I'm used to spicy food, so I can say it's really delicious here. I'm also really proud of Dr. Kidd. I know him even before the first CIS 2019, and him and his team are doing something really important. So, Dr. Kidd, bravo. So I want to talk about the state of global deep tech, but also exactly in the spirit of CIS. So collaboration, that's why we are all here, with innovators, entrepreneurs, governments, corporates. We all have a role together to really contribute. So collaboration is clearly important. Innovation. We need these technologies to really create a better world, a greener planet. And I think this touches really well with the sustainability element of CIS. I want to share about TDK Ventures, but also how we think about investing and how we can actually contribute to society. TDK Ventures is actually the tech firm, the corporate VC of the tech firm TDK. And we are investing in entrepreneurs who are developing really deep technologies that can actually unlock meaningful megatrends. And so that's our investment thesis. We are looking for these entrepreneurs, and I'm hoping, we have not yet invested in Thailand, but I'm hoping you can help me find amazing entrepreneurs who are at the deep technology in any of these meaningful megatrends. Next-gen materials. This is really important, and this is where TDK is very strong as a mothership and bringing so much of what we call TDK goodness. Energy and cleantech. And I'm so proud to say that we co-invested in a company doing nuclear fusion called Type 1 Energy with CX. And so I will talk about Type 1 Energy later. But we also invest in connectivity and computing, industrial and robotics, mobility, and agtech and health tech. Now, a little bit about TDK Ventures. We've started investing 5 years ago. So we are kind of in the same journey as Rise. And the first fund was $50 million. The second one, 2 years later, was $150 million. And then last year, we decided to have one more fund, which was really about decarbonization. And so really focused on solutions that can help us decarbonize. So I'm really proud of hearing about the carbon neutral goal. We invested in 38 portfolio companies across these three funds. It's $350 million at work. And of course, some is for first check, but then follow-on investments. We really try to contribute to the success and scaling of our portfolio companies. We've had some early success, which I'm very proud because it means our portfolio companies are contributing to society through one IPO and through M&A. And we're very proud that 3 of them are already at unicorn level. One of them is extremely important for climate tech, which is Ascent Elements. We invested when they were just 10 people, and now they are already at $1.6 billion valuation. Now, our mission is about exploration. Some corporate VCs is about exploitation, for example, of the current business. But in our case, we're looking at what are the new markets, the new business case, the new business models, the new innovations in the new technologies. So we're not looking at what TDK is doing today, but where TDK wants to go. We also want to learn what could disrupt TDK before it disrupts us. Who remember TDK as a cassette? Raise your hand, please. Okay. We moved on. But you can imagine that when the CD-ROM and the CDs came in and the streaming, it disrupted TDK. We don't want this to happen to us where we get surprised. So we want to learn about this earlier. And that's why TDK Ventures is investing in these new frontier technologies that could become the future for us. And so I'm looking forward to engaging with all of you today to understand what you are doing and what's next for you. Now, I want to talk about how we think about investment. And I'm sharing this because I think it probably will resonate with many of you, and maybe it will inspire some of you. We call it the FIT method, but really it's about first principle-based investment thesis. The first step is we do what we call deep explorations. And the deep explorations are chosen by our investment team. It's bottom-up, it's passion-based. It's something they are interested in learning extremely deeply. So they really deep dive into a topic they choose. And from this really deep dive, they end up building conviction, building insights, sometimes insights that are novel, sometimes contrarian. And then they start to surface it to our team and to other colleagues in TDK and to other investors. And when they surface it, they actually want to be challenged. Could I be right? Could I be wrong? And we try to challenge this to the point where they can survive and they can surface beyond that. And when they do, these deep explorations then lead to basically our ability to choose to invest or not. And there are only three outcomes from a deep exploration. The first one is, that's not a great place for us. Then what do? We share our learnings to TDK, but also globally. And you can read our Medium articles because we want to share as much as we've learned. And so one beauty of this is when we share our learnings, sometimes people will say, hey, you missed something. Maybe here you made a mistake. And we love it because we actually are seeking the truth. We really want to understand as deeply as possible. One of our investment directors, for example, Tina, who is from Thailand, wrote an amazing Medium article about nuclear fusion. And through that, we got to meet many, many people passionate about the topic of green energy. And that allowed us to actually iterate and end up investing and bring other investors along, including CX. Now, of course, once we have developed these key insights, we develop what we call meaningful KPIs, because the second outcome is the ability to say, okay, this is a really good space. We want to invest in this space, but we need to find the company that we want to invest. And before we search for that company, we need to define these very clear KPIs, what it is that we need to see before we decide to invest. And if we don't find any startup that meets these KPIs, then we park this deep exploration. We still share our learnings, but we park it because we are ready to revisit as soon as we find a startup that would meet these KPIs. Now, the third and the best outcome is we like the space, we've defined these KPIs, and we find the startups that actually match these KPIs, which means we believe they will be the market leader in 5 to 7 years. This is what we call the king of the hill. And the king of the hill is basically these companies that within the hill we've defined from our deep dive, we believe will be market leader. Now, as a corporate VC, we have 3 investment criteria. Financial performance. We want to return our funds. Strategic value. And we see it as giving value from our mothership through our superpowers to the companies we invest in. But of course, we're going to learn with them as they scale. And then sustainability, doing good for the society. And when we found this king of the hill, what happens is if we're right, they become the winners. And if so, then our investment criteria are fully met because they are likely to be a fund returner, which means really good financial returns. They will have massive learnings and we will learn with them. So the strategic value is very high. And the third one is, of course, contribution to society. Because if they become so successful, it means that they are bringing value, which is valued by the market, and they can scale profitably. And that's so important. So this king of the hill methodology based on this first principle method is how we approach investments. Then he gives you an example, so it's not too abstract. Yeah. In the deep dive of Ascend Elements, which is a company I mentioned doing battery recycling and upcycling, when we looked at them, they were a very small team, but a really amazing technology, which allowed for upcycling to cathode materials from batteries that were spent. But here, when we did our deep dive, the conviction we built was we need to answer a simple question. And that question was framed as, who is the one player that can truly help OEMs reduce battery costs while onshoring supply chain? And there were some nuances. It's actually quite a complex topic. The first was, we could see for sure that the EV cars was growing. The volumes was growing. And it's not rocket science to know that 10 years later, the battery that needs to be recycled will grow in the same type of curve. But we need to do good business today. And this is where we realize that these gigafactories have a lot of scrap. And this scrap can be upcycled. And so the end of life maybe would only come in 2025, but the recycling and upcycling from the giga scrap could be done today. And it's actually very important to do today. And the second one was the fluctuation of pricing of metals is totally outside our control. That's not quite ideal for a VC type of investment. And then we realized that the cathode design takes a lot of time. So we need a team, a set of entrepreneurs who really understand that and can win customers. And that's how we mapped the King of the Hill. And we realized that cathode cost is the highest element for a battery. So upcycling to cathode with really good unit economics was critical. And so this really helped us to define what we believed could become the market leader in the future. And we see the fact that they have a unicorn valuation as a proof point that we are on the right path to build a company that will really help to recycle batteries, then avoid having to source, which is not good for our planet, from mining all this lithium and cobalt and nickel and other materials, but actually reuse them locally without too much transportation across the world. Now, I want to talk about something which we are doing more and more at TDK Ventures. We call it the backcasting. And here, I want to ask, who in the room can forecast the future? Okay, I can't forecast the future either. Oh, someone can? No. So no one can forecast the future, okay? But one thing we all can do is dream. We can all dream about the future, the ideal set of future. Let's say green energy continuously for nearly free. Or we talked about AI earlier with Dr. Kidd. Maybe nearly free compute for everyone in the world so that every country has the opportunity to have their own AI. That's kind of a nice future. Or maybe recycling to the point where everything that we use becomes a circular economy. Or maybe a perfect smart home that provides a luxury for everyone at extremely low cost. We can all dream about this future. And then it's actually quite straightforward to backcast and look at what is missing to get to this ideal future. Guess what? All of these critical gaps you identify, there will be entrepreneurs working on it right now. And us as VCs, and I think many people in the governments can also help, we can help these entrepreneurs build a solution that is helping to get to that future that we dream of. And that's the backcasting. All of us can do that. Now, I want to give you, I don't know if in Thailand it's famous. Do you know this cartoon, Jetsons? This was about flying cars, okay? That's also a really nice future to imagine. Electric, vertical takeoff and landing aircraft that's not polluting, that gets you from one place to another. I mean, imagine if you could go from Bangkok airport to Thailand town center in 6-7 minutes for 10 times cheaper than the taxi today. That's quite nice. And so this is something that we dreamed of more than 60 years ago. But actually, we backed an entrepreneur. His name is Tian Yu, also a Stanford classmate with Dr. Kidd, who has built this aircraft. And in 2020, it was just a dream. He had a plan, he had a design, he had a team started working on it. But it was not yet a reality. 3 years later, they had a world record of the longest distance traveled with an eVTOL, 155 miles on a single electric charge. Then they had a world record of being the first formation flying with 3 eVTOL of autoflight flying at the same time. And then this year, they flew Shenzhen to Zhuhai and they got certification. This is, for me, the definition of king of the hill. They are building a great future for all of us, way more sustainable without the traffic. I'm sure if you live in Bangkok, you appreciate not to have the traffic. They are building that beautiful future for us. Now, I want to talk about challenger technologies to end this presentation. Challenger technologies are this technology for a greener planet that are not yet profitable. They don't have yet the right unit economics. But in a globalized world, they would have no chance to survive because we have already wind and solar and lithium ion for energy generation and energy storage, respectively. But we need a bigger spectrum of technologies for us to bring better, greener technology solutions for us. And while I hate to say we are getting into a more fragmented world, there is a ray of hope in that the tensions and the friction that it creates enables these entrepreneurs building really good technologies for a greener planet and to be scaling them because of that. Because we can't afford to ship lithium all around the world. That doesn't make sense. We should find ways to avoid that. And so here I have 3 examples of these challenger technologies. Ascend Elements, I've already mentioned, who are recycling and upcycling batteries, which means you don't need to have this nickel and cobalt and lithium shipped around. It's already in a country and you recycle it locally. Quick Energy, this one is really interesting. It's a sodium-ion battery for big scale industrial energy storage. And here it basically means you don't need lithium to do energy storage, which you need so much of to take advantage of intermittent energy generation of wind and solar. And here you just use sodium, which is everywhere. And Capron Energy, which is our co-investment, where it's building these nuclear fusion plant solutions that will provide continuous green energy, which we need so much, and which actually will help us from moving back from a fragmented world to a globalized world. I also want to mention 2 examples for climate tech, because I know this is important for all of you in the audience today. We have invested in a company called DV Road. It's a Google Maps for water. And Thailand is not saved from floods and water issues, but it's a global problem. And here what they do is they have these sensors who are providing real-time data of the flood or the water levels or even snow levels, so that you can predict very accurately when you will get flooded. And so the governments and the cities and all the activities that needs to be done to redivert traffic or prepare the populations can be done very quickly. And that's the concept of nowcasting. So D-Rod is a very interesting company for us to do some mitigation about climate change. KH7 has developed an amazing grain solvent process to recycle copper and PGM, platinum group materials, so that we can have a real circular economy. And these are materials we could not before recycle. So this is the type of investments we make so that we can actually get to this ideal state of the future. Now, I will finish by saying, if you want to know what we are interested in, what we are looking at right now, what our investment team is looking at, go and check our website. Our first tab, and we like to call ourselves explorers, are all about this deep exploration. You can see all the ones we've done in the past, as well as the current one. We're looking at geothermal power, industrial software for factory operations, decarbonizing industrial heat. I'm sure some of you are interested in this, but we're also looking at data center networking. So please check out our website, and if you find something interesting, it also shows the name of our investment team members who are looking at it right now or in the past. They want to hear from you. With this, I want to again thank Rise, Dr. Kidd and his team for doing an amazing job. We need more and more collaboration, innovation, and sustainability. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.